The year is 1776. Imagine a world on the brink of upheaval. 13 colonies, a mere flicker against the might of the British Empire, yet an ember of defiance grows. Revolution whispers in taverns and town squares, and amidst the storm stands a man named Benjamin Franklin. Printer, inventor, statesman, his name echoes through history. But was he merely a figurehead or the very catalyst of change? How did this man, born to humble beginnings, rise to shape the very destiny of a nation? This, my friends, is a tale of ingenuity, rebellion, and the extraordinary life that helped birth America. Franklin wasn't a man destined for greatness from birth. He was a 10th son of a 10th son, born into the hard-working trade of a Boston candlemaker. A life of soot and wax seemed his inheritance. His formal schooling was scant, ending as most young men began their apprenticeship. Yet, unlike others, his mind yearned for more. He sought out knowledge with a relentless hunger, transforming grimy print shops into his personal university, dusty bookshelves into treasure troves. His brother's printing press became his proving ground. He wasn't satisfied with merely setting type. Within him burned the desire to mold words into weapons, to give form to the arguments blazing within him. Clashes erupted between brothers, sparks of ambition against the binds of duty, until one fateful day Franklin chose rebellion. He fled Boston, a young runaway with nothing but a few coins and a heart full of defiance. The young man landed in Philadelphia, a vibrant city on the cusp of greatness, alive with opportunity. Here he would make his mark. His printing press flourished, and his pen flowed with shrewd wit and insight, earning him both profit and renown. Yet his mind wasn't limited to paper and ink. Franklin saw the world not as it was, but as it could be. The untamed power of electricity, a plaything for philosophers? No, Franklin sought to harness it, with his kite dancing defiantly in the tempest, the lightning rod bringing that celestial fire down to earth. He founded a lending library, ensuring knowledge wasn't the sole privilege of the wealthy. He established a fire company, bringing order amidst the chaos of flames. His inventions weren't mere curiosities. The Franklin stove brought warmth more efficiently. Bifocals eased the strain of age on weary eyes. Franklin's relentless curiosity transformed into tangible improvements, his inventions paving the way for a more comfortable, a safer world. As his ventures thrived, so did his reputation. No longer was he merely a printer, but a pillar of his community. His very name became synonymous with ingenuity and the boundless possibilities of the self-made man. With each project and each debate, he molded not only his own path, but the trajectory of the society burgeoning around him. Unwittingly, he laid the foundation for the revolutionary spirit that would soon engulf the American colonies. As the rift between colonies and crown widened, Franklin's belief in reconciliation wavered. His voice became essential. His Pennsylvania Gazette, a thriving newspaper, wasn't merely a business. It was a platform to shape public discourse, fueling pro-American sentiment. He penned sharp essays criticizing British policies like the Stamp Act, and his testimony before Parliament in 1766 helped lead to its repeal. Yet as tensions flared further, fueled by incidents like the Boston Massacre, it was clear compromise was no longer possible. He played an integral role at the Second Continental Congress, and his hand is evident in the very words of the Declaration of Independence, the document that severed ties with the British Crown in 1776. By 1775, reconciliation seemed a distant hope. Franklin returned to a more radical Philadelphia. He served as a delegate to the Second Continental Congress, a body increasingly divided between loyalists and those advocating for complete separation. Franklin now firmly championed the latter. His voice was vital. As one of the elder statesmen respected for his wisdom and experience, he helped guide the hesitant Congress towards the momentous decision. In 1776, he was appointed to the five-man committee tasked with drafting the document that would formalize the break with Britain, the Declaration of Independence. While Thomas Jefferson holds credit for much of the prose, Franklin's edits were essential. It was he who refined the iconic phrase, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal," lending it greater clarity and power. The words were a declaration of war, no matter his personal reluctance, and his signature alongside the others was considered an act of treason. But independence wasn't simply declared, it had to be won. Franklin, then an old man in his 70s, embarked on a perilous journey across the Atlantic in 1776. Franklin arrived in France not as a polished ambassador but a symbol of rustic virtue, a deliberate choice to appeal to French sensibilities. He played the part to perfection. He charmed the nobility with his wit, intrigued them with stories of America, and became the embodiment of Enlightenment ideals. Yet, behind the charm was a shrewd negotiator. While the French were sympathetic to America's plight, they were wary of open confrontation with Britain. Franklin played a delicate diplomatic game, exploiting France's rivalry with its old enemy, emphasizing the potential gains of supporting the fledgling nation. It was a long process full of setbacks and frustrating delays, but his persistence paid off. News of the American victory at Saratoga in 1777 bolstered his case, and finally, in 1778, the Treaties of Alliance and Amity and Commerce were signed. It was a lifeline to the American cause, bringing not just funds but ships, soldiers, and the possibility of global recognition. Victory secured, the challenge now lay in building a nation from disparate colonies. In 1787, an older, frailer Franklin journeyed once more to Philadelphia. The Articles of Confederation, the first governing document of the United States, had proven weak and ineffective. The Constitutional Convention was a last-ditch effort to forge a more unified nation. Debates were fierce. Disagreements over representation, state power versus federal power, threatened to derail the process. Franklin, then 81 years old, became the voice of reason. He urged compromise, reminded the delegates that the world was watching, that the failure to create a functioning republic would prove those who doubted the experiment right. His influence is seen in the Great Compromise, which resolved conflicts between large and small states, and in the careful system of checks and balances that underpins the US government to this day. He believed fervently in the power of education to uplift society, and his ideas led to the founding of the University of Pennsylvania, which continues to inspire new generations. And though a slave owner early on, he became a leading voice in the Pennsylvania Abolition Society, demonstrating that even the most revered figures could evolve in their understanding of justice. Franklin's international fame wasn't merely due to his politics. His scientific investigations had made him a celebrity in intellectual circles long before the Revolution. His legendary kite experiment wasn't just about proving lightning was electricity. It led to the invention of the lightning rod, a practical tool that saved countless lives and buildings. The Franklin stove provided heat more efficiently. His bifocals aided clear vision. He saw no divide between science and the betterment of everyday life. This reputation was invaluable in France. It made him a figure of interest, a walking embodiment of a new nation built on reason and innovation. It lent credibility to the idea that America was more than rebellion. It held the promise of a society where knowledge would bring progress. Benjamin Franklin wasn't just present at the birth of a nation. He was its architect, its diplomat, its voice of reason amidst the tumult. He was a man of science, of philosophy, of practical inventions and lofty ideals. And his beliefs in constant inquiry, self-improvement, and the right of a people to govern themselves formed the bedrock on which the American experiment was built. Benjamin Franklin breathed his last in 1790. The fledgling nation he had helped forge mourned him. But his influence didn't fade with that final breath. Look around at the very fabric of America, its bustling cities fueled by the spirit of invention, its newspapers founded on the freedom of the press, its libraries bastions of knowledge accessible to all, its government carefully balanced to prevent tyranny. These are echoes of Franklin's ideals. Perhaps his greatest legacy lies not in any single invention or act, but in the spirit he embodied. It's the audacious belief that a person can, through effort and intellect, transform not just themselves, but the world around them. It's a restless curiosity, a relentless push for progress. Yet it's also tempered with the wisdom to understand that true progress lies in compromise and a government of the people by the people. Benjamin Franklin was a man of his time, with all the flaws and contradictions of a complex era, but also a visionary who helped lay the road for a world that wouldn't yet fully embrace his truest ideals for centuries. Is the American experiment perfect? Far from it. Yet the very ability to question, to improve, to strive towards those ideals of liberty and self-governance, this is Franklin's enduring gift. I hope this journey has left you not just with an understanding of Benjamin Franklin, but sparked reflection on his lasting influence upon both America and the ideals it stands for. If so, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And remember, history isn't just about the past. It's a vibrant tapestry woven through the actions and questions we ask today.